Coming up next on AVID Achievers, what does it mean to be an AVID Certified Site? Hello and welcome to AVID Achievers. I'm your host, Jen Lombardi, coordinator of AVID. Today we're going to talk about the AVID certification process and visit the AVID Expo. I'm joined by Lori Fowler, coordinator of AVID at Severna Park Middle School. Welcome, Lori.
Thank you, Jen.
Lori, we have 33 certified AVID sites in Arundel County. What does it mean to be an AVID certified site?
AVID is actually a national program, and to be considered an AVID certified school, the school really must implement all of the essentials with fidelity. From site to site, each school should really look a lot the same since they are implementing that same program.
How do we make sure that we're implementing with fidelity?
There are actually some essentials of AVID that we have, and in order to make sure that we are meeting our goals, we meet regularly with the site team to review the essentials and come up with a plan to meet our school's need.
Okay, and you say site team. What is a site team?
Well, each school has a site team, and the site team is representative of our entire school staff in the sense that we have different departments represented, we have different teachers, different grade levels, administrators, even includes a parent and a student. And the site team really works to make sure that the school is implementing AVID throughout.
Okay, and so why do you have people from different departments and representing different groups?
Well, AVID is a school-wide program, so in order to really make sure that the program is school-wide, we do need to have each department represented.
Okay, and how would, for example, if you had an English teacher on your site team, how would AVID look in the English department?
Well, it actually is a very easy thing to do in the English department. We have WICR strategies, and WICR stands for Writing, Inquiry, Collaboration, Organization, and Reading. So right away, the writing and the reading is very easy to implement in the English department. So the person who is on the site team actually will go back and share those strategies with the department.
Okay, so from what I'm hearing, AVID sites are certified, and when they're certified, the site team helps to make sure that they're certified.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, and did you say something about 11 essentials?
Yes. AVID has 11 essentials, which is actually something that not a lot of people realize. You hear AVID and you don't really realize what all is involved in it. And some of those essentials include recruiting the right students, voluntary participation, incorporating tutorials into the weekly AVID process. So there are many things to think about when you are thinking about, is our school implementing AVID with fidelity?
Now, for example, recruiting the right students. So what would that essential look like?
Well, you want to get students who are in the academic middle. They have potential to be successful in the advanced level classes with rigorous curriculum. However, they just may need some support through the tutorials, through the strategies that are offered in the AVID classroom and then carried out throughout their school day.
And what would be the metrics? How would you measure whether or not you are picking the right students with fidelity?
Well, you have to make sure that you're looking at your indicators for the essentials. We do have it's very data driven. There is a data collection that's taken, and it's measuring the different things about the different types of students that you have. We also have something called an ISS, which is the initial self-study, and that is having the site team look and see where are we as far as the essentials are concerned at this time, and then we set forth a site plan, and that site plan really drives the year. And at the end of the year, there's something called the certified self-study to see, have you really accomplished the goals that you set forth in your site plan?
And the site plan, where do you build those goals from?
Those goals are really built from the ISS and the school's need. So through the initial self-study, you're really looking at each indicator and the essential from which it falls and saying, well, we really need to work on our tutorials, or we really need to work on our site team involvement. And then that allows the school to know where to put their focus for the year.
And then the site team helps monitor that site plan?
Yes, yes. Through monthly meetings, the site team plan comes back, and we always go and look at each of the essentials that you're focusing on and report, and then make plans of action based on our current status. Sometimes the site team meetings happen as a whole group. Sometimes they're a focused group. It really is something that's flexible for the school's need.
Okay. And what is the benefit from the site team members for being on the site team?
Well, being on the site team is actually, it's a good thing. We really never have to search out teachers because it is voluntary, which is one of the best parts. Many times, a lot of the things that you're involved with in school, you have to be part of something, you have to do this. AVID Site Team is a voluntary participation for its site team members as well. So benefits would include, I would say, being exposed to those wonderful Wicker strategies. AVID strategies are good teaching strategies, and I think that the teachers who are part of our site plan truly understand that, and they see it, and then they are able to put it in action.
So as the site team is overseeing the site plan, how does your principal and other people know that you guys are implementing AVID with Fidelity?
Well, as the AVID Site Coordinator, we're usually involved with our school improvement plan, and the AVID Site Team plan is actually part of our school improvement plan. So through different meetings with the principal on the school improvement plan, we really try to align the two so we are working together.
Okay, and how do you collect evidence to show that?
We do, yes.
Okay.
Every year we put together an AVID portfolio, and the evidence for each indicator is collected. Student samples, data displays, parent emails, correspondence with teachers, those types of things are all put into the portfolio to show that those indicators are being met.
And then, so the AVID certification portfolio shows whether or not you've implemented. Now, when do you prepare that portfolio?
Well, it's really prepared through the year. You start preparing at the beginning of the year. You have your initial self-study, and that is part of it. And you have all the things that you're collecting, the students that are part of your program, the students who you are recruiting throughout the year. All of that information is put in there in a way that it shows that you are doing what you need to do. But there really isn't a time that you really put it together because you're putting it together throughout. The actual process of putting it into what would be displayed at our end of the year expo really takes place starting in February. You're really trying to kind of think, where do these things fall? How should I display them? How would they best be portrayed for the person who's looking to see, is my school an AVID certified site?
So, and let me backtrack a little bit.
Sure.
So you have a site team that works together on the site plan, and the site plan revolves around the school improvement plan and the AVID's 11 Essentials.
Yes.
And your site team is trying to make sure that AVID at your school is implemented with Fidelity. Would AVID at your school look like AVID at another school?
It certainly should, yes. If the other school is also implementing with Fidelity, it should look very similar. They should have the same types of strategies, they should have the tutorials, they should have the organization techniques, the use of the Cornell notes. It should look very similar, and a student going from school to school should have a very easy transition if that school is also implementing the AVID program. And
would the Essentials help make sure that they're implementing it in a similar way?
Oh yes, the Essentials definitely guide it, and that's how you know that you are implementing properly. If you know your Essentials and you understand the indicators.
Okay, and can you give me an example of how, let's say, tutorials would look the same at Severna Park Middle School as they do at Severna Park High School or at Southern High School? How would that happen using the indicators?
Well, in order to have a successful tutorial, the student needs to come prepared with a question that they need, and so that would happen regardless of the school. They would be actually trained to do an AVID tutorial. An AVID tutorial is not exactly like what the general population thinks of as a tutorial, because it's very much based on need, and students will work together in a group based on their need. Like all the students for language arts may work together, and they will have a tutor, and that tutor will be kind of writing down the things that they need in order to be successful. The group works together through questioning and inquiry in order to get the student who is having the difficulty understanding their concept a little more.
Now, would question and inquiry be part of the indicators or the essentials?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And what about, so that's how they would be the same at a Severna Park Middle and a Severna Park High School, because in order to attain that indicator, they would have to be attained in both of them in order to be implementing with Fidelity.
Yes.
Okay. Now, of your certification process, at the end when you have the portfolio put together, we have a certification review where all 33 sites come together with their portfolios, and we review each other's portfolios. What is that day like for you as an AVID site coordinator?
Well, it's a little bit stressful, but overall it's more of a celebration. Each of the schools we're very well guided as far as what we are supposed to be doing, the checks on where we are. We have monthly meetings and opportunities to get together with other AVID teachers. So really we have a guidance towards what our goal is. So that day is really a day of celebration. It's a day that we can share our successes, share our students' successes, share our school successes, and just be together with our AVID family.
Now, do you actually share things from your portfolio at this time?
We do. During the certification review, we do share those things. We have a reviewer who comes in and asks questions, and we have a small panel that will sit with us and listen to our discussion and answering of questions. And so we kind of just highlight the things that we think we're proud of.
Okay. And so say you go through the review process and you become an AVID Certified Site. Are you always an AVID Certified Site?
No, it's a yearly process. You do have to do it every year. If a teacher leaves and another teacher takes over, they need to start from the beginning and make sure that all of the essentials are hit. So no, it's something that has to happen every year. And as an AVID teacher, I do take it very seriously and understand that it is my role is to make sure that those essentials are met.
And what essentials is your school focusing on this year at Severna Park Middle School?
We have data, so we're definitely looking at the data. It's something countywide, so it makes sense for us to have that as one of our focuses. We are also looking at the rigorous courses, making sure that our students are in the correct classes and that they're having access to rigorous content. And then we are also looking at organization, the different ways that our students can keep themselves organized, the way that they can have their thoughts organized, not only their physical items organized, but also their thoughts organized.
So let's start with data. As your site team is working with data, what kind of data are you looking at?
We really want to see how are our AVID students doing compared to our general population. We'd like to see them doing as well or better because they do have that support put in there. We want to make sure that we have a representative. We want to make sure that we're not having students that have the behavior problems and that our students are doing what they need to do in order to be successful. We look at some of the benchmarks. We look at grades. All kind of data is explored in our meetings.
And what kind of decisions are made from what you find in the data?
Where more support is needed. If there is something lacking in the area of mathematics, maybe I will do some type of a math lesson within the AVID classroom to support that need.
Okay, so actually that may drive some of the instruction that goes on in the classroom.
It definitely drives the instruction.
Okay, and another thing your site team is focusing on is access to rigorous courses, you said. So what would be the role of, let's say, that English teacher on the site team as that it pertains to that goal of the site plan?
Well, a lot of the time is just making them aware of who the AVID students are. And through the actual meeting, every time that we come in for an AVID site team meeting, the teachers are reviewing their list and they're talking about their students and they're saying, how can we make sure that these students are having that support that they need so that they can be successful in this rigorous class?
Okay, so they're actually looking at supporting them, and if they're not doing well, then what happens?
Well, help sessions are actually one of the best things. AVID is really nice because we're able to focus on all of the different content areas. So if a student needs something, they can come to the AVID classroom at the end of the day. And sometimes what will happen is I will be communicating with the language arts teacher. Say if the deficit is in language arts, that's where we would be talking. The teacher could give me things to work on. I could send the child to that teacher. There's all different ways that we can meet the need. But definitely, if without the data, without the information to take in, we do not know how to fix the problems.
And do a lot of those ideas come out of the site team meetings?
They do come out at the site team meetings, but there's also just a lot of communication. There's just got to be that open door of communication with your site team members. If we see something happening in language arts, I can email the teacher and say, what's happening in your language arts class? How can I support that in AVID? And she can give me what they're working on, and then that support can be given.
And would you focus on the same essentials next year or every year? Are they always the same?
They're not always the same because you're not always dealing with the same set of students or same set of teachers. So it really changes based on a year to year. And sometimes your school improvement plan, the focus of the school improvement plan changes, so this AVID site team plan may have to change as well.
And when it does change, let's say it doesn't change.
Okay.
And you haven't focused on this one essential for several years, how do you know you're still implementing, let's say, that essential, if you're not, that's not a primary focus?
It would be done when you're doing the certified self-study. That's really when that information comes out, because you have to look at each individual indicator and tell whether or not assess whether or not you are meeting those goals. So if something isn't being met, then at the during that certified self-study, it will really come out. You will not have the rating that you feel like your school should have. And so then next year, you'll think of that over the summer, and then it will come out in the site plan the next year.
So what exactly does the certified site self-study look like?
It's pretty big. It's a lot of pages. You're on the internet, and you have to actually go through. What I'll do for my teachers is I often will print out certain sets of the essentials so that the teams can look at them together and go over the indicators. A lot of discussion happens, but it's basically your essentials at the top. The indicators are underneath. It gives you ideas on what you should have in order to share with someone in order to say, yes, we are implementing this essential with Fidelity.
And could you give us an example of any type of indicator and different levels of that indicator? It doesn't have to be.
Okay, well, what I'm thinking of is that a certain % of your 8th graders should have taken Algebra 1 or STEM by 8th grade. They should have taken STEM or algebra. Maybe 100% would be a level 3, 80% would be a level 2, 70% would be a level 1.
So you actually go through with your team and check where Severna Park Middle is at that time, at the initial self-study in the beginning of the school year, and then again at the
You do.
final.
Yes, because things change throughout the year, so you don't know, and it is important to look at it both at the beginning and the end of the year.
So some of the things I've been hearing, schools are certified every year, and they're certified according to the 11 essentials. And you have the initial self-study done in the beginning of the year, and the final self-study done at the middle point or April. And from those two things, you can determine whether or not you're implementing all AVID's 11 essentials and at what level you're implementing.
Yes.
During the way you collect evidence, and you put that evidence in something called your certification portfolio, that certification portfolio is used at the review day where you actually share that with your colleagues and it's evaluated.
Yes.
And then from that, it's determined what your certification level would be, whether you're still to continue an AVID certified site or not to continue an AVID certified site.
Yes, and all that information goes to the county coordinator of AVID, and then it ultimately goes to the National Certification Center.
Okay. And also that day is the AVID Expo. And just real quickly, can you share what's the purpose of the AVID Expo?
The purpose of the AVID Expo is to really let our community and people involved, the stakeholders, to understand how AVID supports our students. It's a day with lots of energy, excitement, questions that people come up with are just so, it's interesting because they don't know and they want to know. And just to have that energy and be part of that energy is very exciting. All 31 sites have boards. They share and they put up their successes, and it's a day for our AVID family to come together and to really highlight our year.
Thanks for sharing. We're actually now going to look at the AVID Expo in action and visit some of the teachers and the boards. The certification process culminates with the AVID Certification Expo. The Expo begins with an opportunity for visitors to come learn more about the AVID programs at each school and their successes for the year. Each year, schools prepare a display to show an overview of AVID at their school. Parents, executive office staff, department leads, political figures, and other distinguished guests attend. AVID teachers are happy to share their great work of their AVID students with the staff.
The purpose of the AVID Expo is to highlight each AVID program at all 31 secondary Anne Arundel County public school sites. Every middle school and high school has an AVID program, and they're trying to show how they're using data to open the access to rigorous courses and then supporting students to be successful in those rigorous courses. So the boards actually show their journey and their students' journey into greatness.
So we're trying to show our pathway to success. So we start with, if you look over here, Cornell notes, we have agenda books, college research projects. So 10th and 11th grade, we do a lot of college research projects. Then our tablecloth is made up of our 12th graders' college acceptance letters. So all these college acceptance letters make up this tablecloth. And if you look at the board behind me, you have South River High School moving on to college and then moving on to bigger and brighter things such as Under Armour or big corporations like that.
The Expo provides time for teachers to highlight their school and the AVID student work.
The story that our board is trying to tell is that our Severna Park Middle School, we're really trying to close the achievement gap using data and to push students all to the most rigorous class level that they can be in.
The AVID curriculum helps prepare students for university level work through Wicker, each letter standing for something. So we focus on the board here on the College of Writing and Reading, which are the W and the R in Wicker. Inquiry, high-level questioning, which is the I in Wicker. Organization, which is the O. We focus on goal setting and our binders and having their agendas for time management. And finally, C, collaboration. And collaboration is making sure that they're good at presenting, that they're good at working together, that our kids can focus and be good citizens with one another.
The day is definitely a celebration for AVID sites across the county.
Well, the AVID Expo is really my favorite event of the year because it's a chance for my students really to shine through their accomplishments in the year. I'm able to show our community members, people at the Board of Education, everyone from principals and coordinators to politicians, what my students are doing and how much AVID is benefiting them as students.
Following the AVID Expo, review teams meet to gather more information about each school's work during the year. AVID teachers present their certification portfolios to teams of teachers and evaluators who are able to get a picture of what the program has accomplished during the year. Teachers are able to share initiatives that were tried and provided feedback on results. It provides time for teachers to hear what is working at other sites and to brainstorm issues that may have arisen during implementation.
So this year we decided to be a little more structured with our interventions. So we developed what we call levels of support. So we decided that there are 3 levels that AVID students can be on, have the grades to make sure they're making progress.
Teachers leave the Expo with new ideas to try and resources to help teams on their journey to AVID student success. Lori, thank you so much for visiting us today on AVID Achievers. And thank you for viewing AVID Achievers Certification Review and AVID Expo today. See you next time on AVID Achievers.